Welcome to Focus in the Noise. Let's talk real conversations, real experiences, no shortcuts. You're watching Focus in the Noise with Ed Newby. Today I wanted to talk to you about the difference between being a technician and switching over and biting the bullet and becoming the owner. What's different? Well, a really awesome technician, I think, comes to work prepared to take on that day's issues, 4 or 5 calls, maybe less, maybe more. Getting your headspace ready, getting that morning routine done, get your truck loaded up, getting everything stocked, ready for the day, ready to accomplish anything. You got 5 calls, 5 tasks, and that's where your brain is. Nothing wrong with that. And there are plenty of technicians, skilled technicians that put in their 8 and they go home and they're fantastic and they live a great life. Why ownership? Trust me, some days I ask that myself. It's not easy. I remember starting out in 2010 when we started All Star that I didn't really get a paycheck. This job didn't pay too good. But yet the desire and the need, I guess more need than desire at that point, was to work for myself. Look, I have been fired from every single job I've had since I was a kid. I've had different ways of doing things, my own way, not always better, sometimes better. So some people make really good employees. I do not. So I had to create All Star to give myself long-term employment, which thankfully I did. It's the best job I've had to date. But yeah, going into service truck to owner mode, there are owner things that you have to decide whether you're willing, have the guts, have the ability, are crazy enough to do. I used to walk around and say, hey, anyone can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. That's not always the case. Some people don't want the things that go with business ownership. There are days where, you're in and out before your family. You go to work at dark, you come home at dark. You really didn't spend too much time. The other things that obviously I had children growing up. My children grew up with me starting a business. I have 2 sets. I have bigs and I have littles. And everybody has gotten to go through the tour of All Star. Right now, I'm on my younger 2 set, Hudson and Lucas. And I'll be honest with you, there are times where I can't go do their things. I try to pride myself on making every possible thing I can, whether it's baseball, acquire performance, whatever it is. It's just hopping on the cart and going down to the lake and throwing a pole in. You are tied to a little bit of everything. I remember, even to this day, you go to dinner on a Thursday night, you go Friday night, you think it's going to be a weekend, and you got to go separate, right? My family goes ahead of me, or I go in a different car, and I have my tool bag with. Ownership doesn't stop at 5 o'clock. I wish that I could tell you that at 8:30, 9:30 at night, 2:30 in the morning, you got to be on. And you got to do owner things. You really can't call in. You're counting on yourself. Your family's counting on you. Your employees are counting on you. It's a lot of stress. On one hand, as a technician at a company, if you're paid well, you're taken care well, maybe that's the place for you. It doesn't mean you don't transition into that next phase. Maybe you have the guts. Maybe you have the courage. And maybe you just are flat out crazy. Mine was a necessity. What is your reason to wanting to switch? But I will tell you, a lot of people want to be king, but not do king stuff. And that means willing to work for nothing, willing to spend Saturday, Sunday, oftentimes alone, in the truck, in an attic, on a roof. And it doesn't even apply to air conditioning. It could be plumbing, electrical, welding, whatever your career is, landscaping, whatever you do. When you are the owner, there's no one to call, right? And when things do happen, bad things come up. You get people call you and say, you know what? Screw this. What happened? I don't like the system you sold me 2 years ago. I'm not dealing with that now. Guy bought a unit 2 years ago and decides now, hey, it's not for me. Okay. So you got those problems. You got to be willing to stand on the carpet, take responsibility for your customers, for your employees, for yourself. So you get up there in the attic and your employees are standing there and they're doing their job, and all of a sudden a foot slips off the board and you are looking down into the kitchen from the ceiling. You just caused a bunch of damage. Ownership means you call and you say, hey, I apologize. That's on us. Doesn't happen all the time, but accidents happen, right? But you got to be willing to take it on the chin and stand up for your guys and say, hey, you know what? They made a mistake. We're going to make it right. And a lot of times, more than anything, is financial. It's a financial burden to mess up something in somebody's house. Is also your utmost responsibility to take care of things as they happen. As a business owner, we can only make plans and set a path for way things are going to go. It doesn't always happen that way. Emergencies happen, accidents happen, things happen. And I think most customers understand that you can't control what happens, but as an owner, you must control the narrative. What does that even mean? It means you get out your checkbook. And it doesn't mean, hey, I'm going to have 2 guys, 3 guys come give you a quote, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, and I'm going to put you in even more of a bind than what we already have. No, it's getting somebody on standby always. So just like your legal counsel, for me, it's Ray Ray. He's on retainer in case something happens. Hopefully I only see him on his own tune-ups, but he's there. Same thing with having a backup or having that person that's going to help you fulfill your responsibility of fixing what gets broken. We step through attics sometimes. Things fall over, a drain line gets stepped on. I mean, it's rare, but it does happen. And as a business owner, I can tell you it's going to happen to you. It seems like more when you're an owner than it does as a technician. Out of sight, out of mind, right? I didn't step through the ceiling. I don't have to fork out $500 and $600 worth of sheetrock. Now, let's stop for just a second, owner. What do you do when you have a very nice home or even you don't have a very nice home? But you step through the ceiling and that house has been painted for 5 years. You're going to go up there and spread some mud on it and put some new paint on that spot. And then your homeowner has what? This massive ring around the rosies. No, you got to paint the whole ceiling. You got to make it right. You have to make it right into the house looks better than when you got there. And as an owner, you have that financial burden. You have that responsibility. As that technician, you call into the office, you say, hey, we had this incident, and it gets taken care of and you move on. Definitely not a speech about don't be an owner or it's hard to be an owner. Of course, it's hard to be an owner. It's hard to be anything. It's hard to be a technician. Go hang out in the attic for 16 hours. These guys are freaking awesome. Ladies and gentlemen that work out in the fields, out in the trades, out on the roof, out in your yard, they're really working and they're making big progress. They're doing things. They're making you comfortable, right? We have a responsibility to our customers to make sure that what you hired us for is getting done and it's getting done correct, and we're not taking advantage and we're not doing all the things. So it's a heavy backpack to wear as the owner. I often think back on times where I wasn't getting paid to do my job. It's a thing, right? So that my employees could. And as a small business owner in Houston, Texas, it's not private equity, it's mom and pop. Welcome to me. I'm Paul. I don't want to send my technicians, my managers, my dispatchers home in the wintertime because there's not much calls. So it's up to me as the owner to wear that big boy hat and say, we're going to make money, we're going to save money, and we're going to help our employees because their bills roll in all season long. Customers need us to do maintenance. Customers need us to do warranty work. Customers need the heat on in January at 8 p.m. when they got a senior at the home, or they got a baby, or they got a cranky wife or a cranky husband that doesn't want to be cold. You got to be ready to do those things. So you got to be willing to pay these folks to be on standby. Sometimes there's nothing for them at the shop to do. Baloney. There's always something for your guys that you can do. My guys have came over and hung Christmas lights at my house. Obviously now we have plumbing and electrical. So guess what? I got a lot of plumbing and electrical work until this thing really picks up and runs, right? We put our own generators in. I do my own air conditioning. So there's things for your guys that you have to do, but you have to be willing to understand that it's not just about you. It's not about your house on the hill. It's about the 15 to 20 families that work for you. You have a responsibility to them. You have a responsibility to yourself. You have a responsibility to your clients. Are you answering the phone after 5 o'clock? Did you pay for the answering service? Do you have an after hours dispatch, or does your phone go to the voicemail? Let me tell you a real quick secret about air conditioning in Houston, Texas. If you don't pick up that phone and you pick it up quick, click, call the next one. How many times I've gotten a call 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night saying, my regular guy didn't pick up. Well, guess what? Thank you for the customer, sir. Because when they call me, I'm going to answer. I have a night dispatcher. I have a service. I have a manager on staff. I have things in place for my customers when things happen. And guess what? You could still get a hold of me. You want to complain about something? Something's not right. You don't like it? Call the old boss. Call Ed. Put my phone number on there. 281-221-8037. You got to be able to give a guarantee. I guarantee if you have a problem with anything that my company does, you call us and let's work it out. Doesn't mean you're always correct. Doesn't mean you always cave in. Doesn't mean every customer is going to be satisfied or satisfiable. As a homeowner, you get when it's hot and you're desperate, right? Think about it as a business owner and an employee. Totally rabbit hole on that one. You got responsibilities and people get to be angry. They get to be upset. You can't take it personal. You just got to go do the thing. You got to take care of your customers. If you don't have customers, you don't have a business, you don't have a job, you don't have the things that you need. But are you willing and you ready to count on yourself? Are you willing to get up when your family's just settling down, starting a movie, going to a play? Are you willing to skip that? Is your daughter in gymnastics and she's got a tournament in Dallas next week and it's July 20th and it's 145 degrees outside, it seems like, in Texas? Are you willing to skip that? The answer is you better be, because your competitor is. Your family is your number one priority. And I know that a lot of things is, maybe you're a single guy and you don't have a family, but you have a why. So you are chained to that why. And you owe that why to get up and go do the hard things. In business, we all sell air conditioners. We all sell plumbing. We all sell electrical. What stands you apart from them? I'm here for it. I'm here for the late hours. I'm here for the hard job. I'm here for the hard conversations. I'm here for the pricing debate. Why is this part online for $40 and you're charging me $210? I'm ready for that conversation. Are you ready for that week or two where you don't get any calls? You ever drone around Houston and go by the big private equity companies and see 85 vans in the driveway? Do you think 85 bill collectors are not going to call for those rent payments? So what does that do? We'll talk about that later. When your company owes more than you're making and you got a bunch of bills, what do you got to do to get that bill paid? Whole nother story. Anyway, give it some thought, but don't get in it for the wrong reasons. If you want to be the owner, you got to do owner things. You got to be a big boy, a big girl, and do the thing. Whether it's a salon, whatever you want to be. It's not just my trade, it's any trade. You got to be willing to do the boss things. And if you're not willing to be the boss things, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with being a lead technician, a salesperson. Companies that's their lifeblood. Make yours and go home. Do 8, hit the gate. Don't worry about your job after 8:30 at night. Get yours. However it is you get yours. Not everybody's meant for ownership. Not everybody's made for a lot of things. But find you and do you. And just remember, you owe it to yourself. You owe it to your company. You owe it to your customers. Thank you for hanging out with me today. We will see you on the next one.